Some people walk into a room and barely make a ripple. Others walk in, and even without saying a word, the atmosphere changes. That's what happens with an INFJ. Their presence, calm yet powerful, soft yet magnetic, draws people in without effort. This is what many call the INFJ aura. It's not about looks, fame, or being the loudest voice. The INFJ aura is emotional. It's the way they make you feel when you're around them. There's a sense of depth, understanding, and safety that is almost impossible to explain. But once you feel it, you remember it. People find themselves wanting more of it, sometimes without even knowing why. The INFJ aura is not something they try to create. It's a natural result of how they think, feel, and connect with others. It comes from their unique blend of quiet strength, emotional intelligence, and an ability to be fully present in a way most people never experience. It's why strangers feel comfortable opening up to them, why friends seek them out in times of trouble, and why their absence can be felt as much as their presence. What makes this aura emotionally addictive is how rare it is. In a world full of noise, distraction, and surface-level interactions, the INFJ's way of being feels like a breath of fresh air. They bring a kind of emotional richness that lingers long after the conversation is over. You don't just talk to an INFJ, you feel understood by them. And that feeling can be hard to let go of. In this video, we're going to break down exactly why this happens. There are 6 powerful reasons why the INFJ aura creates such a strong emotional pull. Each reason comes from a different part of who they are: their depth, their insight, their compassion, their authenticity, their vision, and their emotional steadiness. If you've ever wondered why you feel so drawn to a certain person without being able to pinpoint the cause, or if you're an INFJ curious about why people react to you this way, this will make things much clearer. Let's start with the first reason behind this magnetic presence. Reason number 1, quiet depth that draws others. In the first reason the INFJ aura is so emotionally addictive is the quiet depth they carry. They don't need to fill every silence with words or constantly try to prove themselves. Instead, they radiate a calm confidence that makes others lean in. This depth comes from their reflective nature. INFJs spend a lot of time in their own thoughts, exploring ideas, feelings, and connections between events. Because they think deeply, they speak with purpose. When they share something, it often feels like it's been carefully considered, and that gives their words weight. People are drawn to this because it's so different from the constant rush of quick, shallow exchanges most are used to. Around an INFJ, the pace slows down. The conversation feels richer, the pauses feel comfortable, and you feel like what you're saying is actually being heard. Another part of this depth is the sense that there's always more beneath the surface. Even when you know an INFJ well, you get the feeling there are more layers, more thoughts, more stories, more insight that you haven't yet uncovered. This creates a natural curiosity, and curiosity keeps people coming back. This quiet depth also gives the INFJ a sense of mystery. They reveal themselves slowly, not because they're playing games, but because trust is something they build over time. The result is that every conversation feels like you're learning something new about them, even years into knowing them. What makes this depth emotionally addictive is the way it makes people feel seen. The INFJ's attention is never just on the surface of what you're saying. They listen for meaning, emotion, and the unspoken truths underneath your words. When someone listens like that, it creates a connection that's hard to forget. Their quiet depth also creates a safe space. People feel they can share without being judged, and that kind of safety is rare. Once you've experienced it, it's easy to crave it again. Reason number 2, intuitive presence that feels attuned. The second reason the INFJ aura draws people in is their intuitive presence. INFJs have an almost uncanny ability to sense what others are feeling or thinking, often before a word is spoken. This makes people feel understood on a level that goes beyond logic. This intuitive presence isn't about guessing, it's about noticing. The INFJ picks up on tiny details most people overlook. A hesitation before you answer, the way your voice changes when you talk about something important, the way your eyes shift when you're holding something back. All these details combine in their mind to form a clear sense of your emotional state. When you're around someone who just gets it without you having to explain everything, it feels deeply validating. You don't have to defend your feelings or work hard to make them understood. They already are. This validation can be addictive because it's so rare. Part of why their intuitive presence is so powerful is that they use it to respond with care. Once they sense what you're feeling, they adjust their tone, their words, and even their body language to meet you where you are emotionally. That kind of responsiveness makes interactions feel natural and effortless. This intuition also creates moments where it seems like they can read your mind. They might offer comfort before you've admitted you're upset, or ask about something you haven't mentioned but have been thinking about all day. These moments can feel almost magical, but they're simply the result of the INFJ's deep attention and sensitivity. However, they don't overwhelm you with this insight. They offer just enough to let you know they understand, while still giving you space to share on your own terms. That balance between awareness and respect is part of what makes being around them so comfortable. The emotional impact of this intuitive presence lasts long after the conversation ends. It's not just that you felt understood, it's that you felt understood without having to struggle for it. And that's an experience people naturally want to repeat. Reason number 3, subtle compassion. That comforts. One of the most emotionally addictive aspects of the INFJ aura is their compassion, but it's not the loud or showy kind. It's subtle, steady, and deeply personal. People often feel it before they even realize what it is. This compassion shows up in the little ways they treat people. An INFJ will notice when you're not quite yourself, even if you say you're fine. They'll remember things you've mentioned weeks ago and check in on them later. They offer help quietly, without making you feel like you owe them. What makes this so powerful is that it feels genuine. They're not helping because they want praise or recognition. They're helping because they truly care. You can sense that their kindness is rooted in empathy, not obligation. This subtle compassion makes people feel safe, and safety is something most people crave, especially in emotional terms. When you're around someone who genuinely cares without judgment, you can relax. You don't have to perform or hide parts of yourself. That freedom creates a bond that is hard to replace. The way INFJs offer comfort is also different from how many others do. They don't rush to give solutions unless you want them. Instead, they listen and let you feel what you're feeling. Their presence communicates, you're not alone, and it's okay to be where you are right now. That quiet acceptance can be more healing than any advice. Another reason their compassion is so addictive is that it feels rare. Many people are quick to judge or become impatient with emotions they don't understand. INFJs, on the other hand, will sit with you in those moments. They know the value of simply being there. Over time, this kind of care becomes something people deeply associate with the INFJ. They might not be the person you see every day, but they're the one you think of when life gets heavy. That role in someone's emotional life is powerful, and it's a big part of why their aura stays with people long after they've left the room. Reason number 4, authenticity that feels rare. In a world where many people feel pressured to present a polished version of themselves, the INFJ's authenticity stands out immediately. They are not interested in putting on a mask just to fit in. Instead, they are willing to show their real thoughts, values, and feelings, even if they go against the norm. This authenticity isn't about oversharing or revealing every detail of their lives. It's about being consistent. What you see with an INFJ is what you get. If they say they care about something, you'll see it reflected in their actions. If they don't believe in something, They won't pretend to just for approval. People are drawn to this because it builds trust. You don't have to wonder what their hidden motives are, or whether they're telling you what you want to hear. You can take their words at face value, and that kind of honesty is a relief in a world full of mixed signals. Authenticity, it also creates a sense of intimacy. When someone is real with you, it makes you feel like you can be real too. This mutual openness deepens connections quickly, and once you've experienced it, it's hard to go back to relationships that feel shallow or fake. Another reason INFJ authenticity is so magnetic is that it is paired with empathy. They can be real without being harsh. They speak their truth in a way that respects the feelings of others, which makes their honesty easier to hear and appreciate. Over time, this honesty becomes part of the INFJ signature. People know they can count on them for genuine interactions, and that reliability becomes emotionally addictive. When someone makes you feel safe enough to drop your own mask, you don't want to lose that connection. Reason number 5. Vision that inspires hope. INFJs often carry a vision for what life could be, both for themselves and for the people around them. They can see possibilities beyond the present moment, and they share those possibilities in ways that make others feel hopeful. This vision might be about a relationship, a personal goal, or even the world at large. When they talk about it, there's a quiet conviction in their voice that makes you believe it's possible. It's not just optimism, it's a mix of intuition and thoughtfulness that gives their vision credibility. People find this inspiring because it shifts their perspective. An INFJ can take a situation that feels stuck and offer a new way to see it. They can connect your strengths to opportunities you hadn't noticed before. In doing so, they make you feel capable of more than you thought you were. This ability to inspire hope is emotionally addictive because it meets a deep human need. Everyone wants to believe that things can get better. When someone helps you see a clear path toward that better future, it changes the way you feel, not just about the situation, but about yourself. INFJs use their vision carefully. They don't make empty promises or push unrealistic dreams. Instead, they offer hope that is grounded in reality. This balance between idealism and practicality makes their encouragement both uplifting and believable. Over time, being around someone who consistently makes you feel hopeful can have a lasting effect. You start to believe in yourself more. You take more chances, and you associate that positive change with the person who helped you see it in the first place. That's why people often describe the INFJ's presence as life-changing. It's not just about what they say, but how they make you believe in possibilities again. Reason number 6. Consistent emotional grounding. One of the most addictive qualities in the INFJ aura is their ability to provide consistent emotional grounding. In a world where moods can shift quickly and interactions can feel unpredictable, the INFJ's steady presence is a rare source of stability. This grounding effect comes from their natural balance between feeling and thinking. They can empathize with someone's emotional struggles while also keeping a clear head about what needs to happen next. This combination allows them to remain calm even when situations become tense or overwhelming. When you're around someone who can stay composed while still caring deeply, it creates a sense of safety. You know you can share your fears, frustrations, or confusion without worrying that they'll panic or make the situation about themselves. That kind of stability is comforting in ways that are hard to put into words. This steadiness is not about being emotionless. INFJs feel deeply, but they've often learned how to process their emotions internally before reacting. That means they're less likely to lash out or let temporary feelings dictate their behavior. Over time, this makes people trust them more, not just with secrets, but with their own emotional well-being. Consistent emotional grounding also makes the INFJ a natural anchor in relationships. Friends and partners often find themselves turning to them in times of crisis, not because they have all the answers, but because they create an environment where it's easier to think clearly and feel supported at the same time. Part of what makes this so emotionally addictive is that it's sustainable. Many people can offer comfort for a short time, but struggle to keep that level of care when life gets stressful. INFJs, on the other hand, tend to be dependable even during their own challenges. They might need space to recharge, but their fundamental approach to relationships doesn't change. This stability becomes part of their identity in the eyes of others. People associate them with a kind of emotional home, a place where you can return, no matter how chaotic life feels, and find understanding without judgment. Once you've experienced that kind of relationship, it's hard to imagine living without it. In many ways, their emotional grounding is the thread that ties all the other aspects of their aura together. It supports their depth, their intuition, their compassion, their authenticity, and their vision. Without it, those traits might still exist, but they wouldn't have the same lasting impact. The INFJ aura is not built on one trait alone. It's the combination of depth, intuition, compassion, authenticity, vision, and emotional grounding that makes it so powerful. Each quality strengthens the others, creating a presence that feels rare and unforgettable. It's this layered emotional experience that keeps people drawn to them long after they part ways. The INFJ aura is more than charm. It's an emotional experience that touches people deeply. They don't just connect, they resonate. This rare combination of qualities makes their presence hard to forget and even harder to replace. If you're an INFJ, embrace it. If you know one, cherish it. Connections like this don't come along often.